Really hits that smaller one. Alright, welcome back to the Canadian Gun Vault. We're here at the beautiful Galt Sportsman's Club in Cambridge, Ontario, and we have with us today the Scorpio SKS 15 rifle. Got to thank the nice people at North Silva for providing us with this rifle to do a brief review on. For those of you that are familiar with the Instagram account and the YouTube channel, you'll know that the Canadian Gun Vault is actually a very big fan of the SKS original, traditionally stocked rifle design. So what they've produced here is something a little bit different. What they've done is they've taken an SKS action and placed it in this aluminum chassis. And I'll put this down here while I load myself up another set, and I'll tell you a little bit about this rifle. So they've dropped the action inside this aluminum chassis, which weighs about a ½ pound less than a traditional SKS rifle, and in doing so they've come up with some answers to some of the deficiencies of the original design, not the least of which are the rails on the system that allow you to mount lights and optics, and of course it's still non-restricted. They've shortened up the barrel a little bit, and they've come up with a pretty interesting piece. I'm going to try running it again here a little bit faster. Yeah, she runs pretty well. We've had a couple of hiccups. Like a lot of Chinese-made rifles, you gotta take them apart, wash them down with a little bit of lube before you really get into using them. You know, the of course SKS rifle didn't have the ability to mount optics or lights easily, and they've addressed those issues, and thanks to North Silva, we've got a Meprolite M5 RDS Pro on it now that was pretty easy to sight in, and you know, it's a pretty sturdy build. Once we got it dialed in pretty fast, we've taken it off and on the rifle a couple of times. It seems to hold zero okay. We're pretty pleased with their product. It's easy to see why Europe seems to be making the transition into that kind of optic, and is very popular over there. I'm going to load up another set, and I think we're going to head over to 100 and see how she does over there. You know, I gotta admit, I wasn't really overly impressed when I first got this rifle. It still has the odd hiccup, but I don't think it's anything that wouldn't be resolved with working some things in. The trigger is a little bit crunchy when I first got it, but spraying it down with a little bit of oil seemed to resolve that. You know, overall, not a bad rifle. The hiccups are a bit of an issue. I think I'd want to run it a little bit more before I'd pass final judgment on it. Certainly the addition of a rail system that allows you to mount lights and optics keeps some hands free if you ever decide to hump around in the bush with this thing, which is really kind of the market that it might cater to. The ability to have a 7.62 firing rifle that is ordinarily quite reliable would be great with a 10-round detachable box magazine, which is something that people really seem to want. And who can blame them? I mean, I think that I could see this sort of thing being the kind of item that would be perhaps carried by trappers, people that might find themselves surrounded by four-legged predators out in the wild. You know, if you wanted something that was built really sturdy, because this thing is definitely a tank, you know, coming in at the weight it does. I get the sensation that you could probably throw it off a cliff and it would probably survive the impact quite well. You know, it groups about the same as your standard SKS rifle. You get about 3-inch groups is what we found with the type of ammos that we've been using. And, overall, not a bad rifle. Something you can enjoy with non-restricted status, and definitely something that, you might be interested in. Coming in at $900, it's a little bit pricier than I'd like to see, but when compared to some of the other offerings out there that give you detachable 10-round box 7.62 magazine, it's quite reasonable. So we hope you've enjoyed this brief overview of the Scorpio SKS 15 rifle. Definitely got to take this moment to thank the good people that have given to us, made donations on the Patreon account that we've just assigned, and you know, to have the ability to run, you know, these great rifles, we got to really give North Silva a big thank you, and for the ammunition that they offered it to us as well. Definitely got to thank everybody that supports us on the page. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and as always, Canada, don't forget to shoot straight and stay safe.